Welcome to the Lancashire Lad podcast. Welcome to the Lancashire Lad podcast and an extra special episode of Balls to It, because my hometown of Morecambe are featuring in the playoff finals starting this Thursday, and I'm delighted to be joined by two lifelong Morecambe fans in Glen and Sama, and of course we've got an ex-Morecambe legend in Craig Stanley joining us this evening. So chaps and chapesses, how are we? Are you excited for Thursday?
Very, very excited, mate, yeah. Absolutely buzzing for it. The whole town is.
Sama?
Absolutely, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah, you can tell. It's obviously for people that, well, not obviously, people that don't know, back in 2007, Morecambe had probably the greatest point in history when they won the playoff final to join Division 2. And it's been a long 14 years, and now Morecambe have arrived. After unfortunately just missing out on automatic promotion, they are now in the playoff semi-final this Thursday against Tranmere. So the town is on edge, and as you can see, the fans are buzzing. Craig, you were present the last time Morecambe had a massive day. How was that, and what does this compare alongside it?
Yes, what great memories of that day. Like you said, 14 years ago. What a day it was, winning the game, the whole build up to it, going down to London a couple of days before, I think it was, the build up, the game. I remember conceding a goal. I think we conceded about the 10th, 15 minutes. I think Glen will probably know the times really, but I remember. Oh, was it? Or maybe about
8th minute.
8th minute. There you go. Sam will know that more. But yeah, I remember being 1-0 down and just thinking this can't happen. And then we then missed a penalty, and then Tomo just scored before half time. And then I remember second half, it was, I wouldn't say back to the walls, but it was quite an even game. And then obviously Danny scored a fantastic goal that he scored, and the celebrations for the next couple of weeks, Stu, was fantastic. And then obviously that's obviously kept Morecambe, and they've progressed, and obviously coming to the game on Thursday, it's a massive game, and hopefully, which we'll probably talk about later, they can do a little bit better than what we did in the League Two playoff semi-final. So, but yeah, fantastic achievement, and what an achievement they've had this year. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I couldn't declare myself as an avid fan. I always keep track of the scores and things like that. But obviously, you know, noticing Morecambe over the last 4 or 5 years, a lot of the time it's always been a kind of a struggle with Morecambe to stay up. And as most people will know, and if you don't, one of the longest serving managers in football, Jim Bentley, departed Morecambe not so long ago, and in came Derek Adams. Sama, what has Derek brought to the club? What has he brought in that's freshened things up?
Well, he's brought in new players and everything, hasn't he? So he's just mixed it up and changed it up a bit, and he's used the players that we had, like in different positions and things where they should be, and I just think, I don't know, yeah.
That's cool. So Glenn, has it been a case of just a freshness in the club, do you think?
Yeah, I think Stanners will mention the part that Jim Bentley had in the side, and he was a legend. He's still loved by all the fans. But there comes a time when you just need to just break, not just with personalities, but with approach and style and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, Jim thought it was the time. He'd had an approach from Fylde. He thought it was the time to go. And, you know, we advertised for new managers, and I know there was, you know, a lot of applicants. People say who'd want a club like Morecambe, but it's a football league club, and there are lots of managers out of work. There are lots of ex-players who are just trying to get into management, and I know there's a lot of good applicants. The thing about Derek, we needed something completely different, and if you were to, you know, to sort of have the exact opposite of Jim's approach, I think Jim, he got the whole club together. He was friendly with everybody. He was liked by the players. I think Derek, I'm not saying Derek's not liked, but that's not his priority. He doesn't really mind if he sort of falls out with people. He's not there to be popular, although he is by how well we're doing. But his focus is on the job in hand, and that's it. He doesn't have favourites, I don't think. I think if players aren't performing, he's got 2 players for every position and bits of flexibility in that as well. In that he's got 3 or 4 players who can play in 3 or 4 different positions. So if you're not performing, you're out of the side. And you mentioned that Craig was in the sort of last big game that we played. He was in the last 2 big games. He was at the last 2 big games, I would say, because he was, well, might surprise you, he was at the Wembley game, obviously, massive one. But 3 years ago, he was at Coventry as well. We spoke to him after the game, and we were minutes away from dropping out of the Football League. I think it's testament to how well the club's done since then, particularly this season. As you say, we are used to looking at relegation battles, if we're being honest, over the last few years, and it's been a real scrap.
Yeah.
So, to go from nearly losing our place in the league that day at Coventry, in the space of 3 years to be up where we are, and don't forget, out of these playoff teams, we're the best of them. We're the 4th. It's difficult now because we're going into a completely different phase. It's
format kind of thing, yeah.
It's almost like 2 and you hope 3 cup ties rather than a season. But as Derek has said, we're a right good side in this league, and we go into it with excitement and confidence, I think.
Yeah, that's great. That's great to hear. Do you think it's, and this is to all 3 of you, really. Do you think, obviously, there's been a few standout players for Morecambe this year. Do you think promotion is vital to keeping these guys at the club next year?
Go on, Summer.
Well, there is so we have got our standout players and everything, but I think as a whole anyway, collectively they've been organised and they've just collectively played well together, so it's difficult. So if we do go up into League One, I do think that we're going to lose the majority of them, to be honest.
Sama, if you had to pick one, who would it be? I think I know the answer to the question, but go on.
What, to stay, Craig?
To stay?
No. Your favourite player this year, who would it be?
For this year, well, obviously, I find it hard to say a favourite.
Yours pick one.
Come on, pick one player.
Well, Carlos Mendes.
Anyway.
Carlos Mendes is you knew everybody was going to say that, so I voted for him.
This is a question, Sama, for you. Obviously, with the players, some of the players, attacking players that obviously you've seen yourself and myself playing with. Would you say he's a bit similar to Carl Baker, Mark Duffy, players like that? And has he got the potential to be better than them players? That's my question to you and to Glen.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you did. I think you should have expected to be put on the spot.
Oh, go on, Glen.
Well, I think
okay,
it's a similar type of player. I mean, I always said with Duffs and with Carl Baker, if I was a manager, that's what I would say to him: get the ball to feet to those players early on, because if you let another team come at you and they're playing defensively for the first 10, 20 minutes or so, you're on the back foot. Whereas I used to always say, get the ball to Duffy or Carl Baker. They are similar types of players in that the first touch is excellent.
Yeah.
And then you don't know what they're going to do. They're very unpredictable players. They've got the skills to control the ball, receiving it at any height. And I've always, and they've all got the capability to take a man on. When in tight games, particularly when you're 11 versus, and you sort of countering each other and you're blocking each other out. I think you need that player who can take somebody on. So I always like to see the players you mentioned. And there's been others going further back, like Mark Shirley and Ian Kane going way back. Yeah. But get the ball to them early on. Let them take somebody on, and then you put the other team sort of on the back foot then.
Do you think he's got the potential to be as good as them, Glenn? Because obviously you see on social media, I've watched him probably play a couple of times, Mendes Gomez, and he looks like he has the potential to be a Carl Baker, Mark Duffy type of play, you know. And Morecambe are renowned for. I think Morecambe are renowned for producing them type of attacking midfielders, wide players, you know.
Yeah, I think so. I think Baker was probably a little bit stronger on the ball, but Carlos is only young. And
of course.
In this season, now he's developed that. He had all the skills, but he'd get knocked off the ball quite easy against sort of older and bigger professionals. But he's improved that side of his game this season. He defends a lot better than he did. He sort of tracks back and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Now, if he's in a better quality, higher side, he might find that he gets played in a different position, and that kind of responsibility is taken away from him, so he can just concentrate on his attacking, which is where his skills lie, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Glenn, who's been your standout player this year? I know Sam said, and you nodded, so you obviously agree that everyone's really been.
Yeah, Sam had it spot on. That's not what we've been about this season. We've not been about individual flair. I mean, you've had it. Adam Phillips before he left us, and Carlos Mendes Gomez would be the picks in that respect.
Yeah.
The success of Morecambe this season has been playing as a team. We play against even the likes of Walsall and Scunthorpe, and you look at individuals in their team and you go, oh, we'd have them, we'd have them. Yeah. Whereas apart from maybe Carlos and maybe Sam Lavelle, I would say, who's, good young centre-back, I don't think we've got those standouts in our team, but they know the job, they cover for each other. They work bloody hard and they're really fit. The number of games that we've sort of either won or come back to draw really late on in games, that they're a well-drilled, well-managed side. They just look like that every time they play.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure that if any of the players or anyone at the club watches this podcast, that would probably mean a lot to them. That you've credited the whole package rather than just.
Well, that's what it is. He's nearly. Yeah. Sam will tell you. Am I right, Sam? And nearly every game, you're struggling to pick a man of the match.
Yeah, 100%.
You've got you'll have three. Say you're in a crowd of if you've got 6 friends you're talking to, they'll each pick a different man of the match, and you can't argue with any of them in any game. It's just who's your favourite. Same with player of the season. Go on, son.
I think the spine of the team, Glenn. Sorry, when you look at it, obviously Lavelle is your captain, centre half, bit like a Jim Bentley type. Obviously probably not in physique like Jim, but leads the team well. Midfield, you've got Songu and Diaguara. Then you've got obviously Stockton up front. I think the spine of the team, when you look at Morecambe's team, is very solid, and as you know, that's where games have won. Yes, you play as a team, but the spine of the team has to be solid. And when you look through the Morecambe team at the minute, I think the spine of the team's fantastic and very solid, and 7, 8 out of 10 all the time.
Yeah, go on, Sam.
It's also like Derek Adams will just drop a player and everybody will be like, why has he dropped him? But then the next player that's like he's dropped him for, they're just all playing like. It's totally different this season. I don't know. It's just
He does it during games as well, doesn't he, Summer? Where you look at a couple of players and you'll think he'll bring off a wide midfielder and a centre back, and he'll put a forward and a full back on, and you're thinking, what's he doing? He doesn't replace him. And 2 minutes later, you'll go, that's what he's done. He's stuck to here. He's come here. He's gone. See what he's doing.
He's a bit of a tactical genius, then.
Honestly, but
definitely.
sometimes you're just scratching your head, thinking, "What's he done that for?" I see. I tell you what. I'll just shut up.
Craig, is there any sort of itchy feet wishing you were part of this?
Of course. Yeah. You, as a footballer. Some may say ex-footballer now, but when you see your old team doing well, when you see these big games coming up, I'll be watching the playoffs tonight after I finish on here. Obviously the championship ones, and then all this week I'll be watching. Yeah, of course, that's what you want to do. Of course, you want to play in these big games. Of course, you want to win as well. I've been on the other end and lost in the playoff games as well, so I know how it feels. But as a footballer, these are the games you want to play in. These are the games you want to win. And obviously, and also for the future, for some of these players, there'll be clubs watching them this week. There'll be new teams watching them this week as well. There'll be new people watching them as well. So it's a big game for all the players this week. And like I said, I hope Morecambe can do it and get to Wembley. And then we've got a great record at Wembley. One win, one game, one win. So hopefully that'll be two. Hopefully there you go. Look, already there's 2 and 2. So
FA Trophy final 74.
Oh yeah, there you go. So 3 out of 3 then. So,
I knew you were the man to bring on, Glenn. I knew you were the man to bring on this show.
Yeah, definitely. These are the games you want to play in.
2 appearances, 2 wins.
Okay, guys, let's talk about the other 3 teams that are in the playoff finals with Morecambe. We've got Newport County, Forest Green, and Tranmere. Now, Morecambe are playing Tranmere. Is there anything to worry about, or are you super confident, Glenn?
Out of the teams that we could have played, I think that's my preference. We've had 2 tight games with them this season. We beat them at their place, I think fairly comfortably in the end. They beat us at our place, but only after we'd had a sending off. And I think out of them, I think they're possibly the more predictable team. I'm not saying they're the worst team in there at all.
Yeah.
I mean, none of them are bad teams, don't get me wrong, but out of the 3, but I think they're the ones that I think we can have the measure of, if I'm being honest.
Glenn, what do you think of losing the getting rid of the manager, Tranmere? What's
That's
that
a weird
down
one.
to? And also, could that be a positive for them? Because as you know, a new year, this, that, and the other, the team suddenly improves, or it could work the other way. So, what's your thinking behind them getting rid of Keith Hill? Do you reckon there's something in the background that's gone on there, or?
Go on, Sam.
Passing it to me.
You don't want to answer that one. Go on, Sam. You answer that one. Sorry.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it is a good thing or not, because I think that when a team loses a manager, I don't know.
Sometimes it's an instant response, isn't there?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm a bit wary. I'm a bit unsure whether it's a good thing or not.
Definitely. And an ex-shrimp in goals as well, Stu, as you know, Scott Davis, who played at Wembley as well. So that's going to be, obviously, he'll be looking forward to the game, but hopefully this time he won't play as well as he has done, But yeah, I just find it very interesting. The manager leaving. I was really surprised when I seen that, and you just hope that the new manager or the assistant, I think, who's took over, doesn't get more out of the team as what the old manager was getting, but I find it very strange in a playoff game. Yeah,
it's a bit like the old saying, isn't it? It's better the devil you know than the devil you don't. And I guess with this happening, you don't know what's going to happen with regards to formation, tactics, how they're going to play. Going to the other semi-final, which is Newport Forest Green, is who's going to win that? Who are you expecting to get through to the final?
I think Newport. I think Newport, but that's my opinion.
I think you might be right. I think Newport have probably got slightly the deeper squad at the moment, but Forest Green, I think they've got the more unpredictable players like Aaron Collins up front, who played for Morecambe for half a season, did really well for us. Good player, good on the ball. I think they're a bit more unpredictable, but I want to beat Tranmere. And then I want to get Newport in the final. I want to beat them, and I want Derek Adams to take his shirt off and go running up to Kevin Ellis on his knees, giving it all that.
Kevin Podgin.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That I'd think I'd go the other way personally. I know why you want to play Newport, this, that, and the other, but I don't know. There's a few ex-Morecambe players in that Newport team. When I watch Newport and I want to watch them play, I think they're a very, very good workman-like team who have got obviously some really good players. A bit like yourselves, Glenn, as well. But
I get what you're saying.
Forest Green, I think, can be unpredictable. Personally, I'd go Forest Green. Yeah.
Craig, your signal isn't the best, Craig. Your signal it's not the best signal tonight, but see if you can do some adjustments.
No, why? Wi-Fi is not great.
No, I hear what you're saying there, Craig. It's just that I think if we play our game and we if we sort of perform as well as we can perform, I mean, we've gone into this with some really good controlled victories where we've hardly given teams like Walsall and Bradford a shot at goal. I think we've played really well recently. I think if we can do that, we're obviously capable of beating any of them. I think Newport earlier on in the season, they caught us at a time when we hadn't quite got it all together. When they came up to our place again, I think I'm right in saying there was a sending off. And I don't know. I just think we've got the measure of them, but they're all good teams, else they don't get there, are they?
Yeah, it's terribly exciting. I mean, obviously, what would it mean to the town and lifelong fans like yourself if you were to get into Division 1? What would it mean to you?
So I think it's going to be great for the town, because obviously, like, if we do get into League One, there's like it's bigger clubs, bigger grounds, bigger fans, like capacity. So like they'll come over, they'll spend money in the town, they'll stay over. It's a new ground for them as well. So I think it'll be good. It'll be good if we can get more fans on the terraces on our side, and then we can that'll bring in revenue to be able to invest in more. To keep us at that League One status, because that's what we're at. Like if we get into League One, we want to stay in League One, and we need that support and everything from the community. Where's Glen gone?
It's musical chairs. Musical chairs. No, that's great. That's great to hear. Just touching on that, we'll ask Glen this. Is it frustrating sometimes as a Morecambe fan when you see empty chairs or not enough people at the football club that should be, but perhaps? Oh, Glen, your sound's gone. Let me just send you a little request to 1 minute. Ask to unmute.
Yeah, some would say muted is the best way to listen to it.
Yeah,
I didn't like to say, Glen.
I've given over worrying. We people like myself and Sam, we go and watch them, and we enjoy watching them. We get a lot of pleasure out of it. Other people will come and they'll dip in every now and again, or when we get a big season or a big match. And I think you just got to accept that that's the case. It's not like Bradford or like even at the likes of Exeter, Newport. They're quite big, sizable cities, and they've all got some sort of big industry there, and that's where you tend to get people sort of chatting about it all at work and stuff like that. I mean, coming from a tourist town, you've never had that kind of big industry. You've got the power station, and then you've got your hospitals and your university, and that's about it, really. So you don't get that massive sort of bed of support. We've never had that. But what we have had is the supporters who go are really, really devoted. I mean, you go anywhere in the country and whenever we're playing, you will see people who used to live here, who are exiled now, they'll all turn up. And the ones who are there are really passionate. And the good thing that I've seen over the past few years is the younger fans coming in now. You've got it's not just old farts like me sort of leading the chances in the back of the stands. It's the younger ones now. And last game of the season, season proper at home to Bradford, I was glad to see there was a couple of 100, 300 fans outside at the end, and we hadn't really, we'd got into the playoffs, but we already knew we were getting into the playoffs. So that one game, it wasn't, crucial or significant, but they turned up. They just wanted to see the players at the end of the game, and they were brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant to see. And you're getting more and more of that. And we are building slowly. If we went into League One, we would build slowly again. It's an exciting time. It's not the same as going into the league, because you were from non-league, suddenly a league club, and that was massive. This is one league into another league. While it's really big, it's not quite that sort of, era-changing promotion, wouldn't that be? But it's still fantastically exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah, no, it is. There's obviously walking around Morecambe over the last since obviously, it came down to the playoffs and stuff, and now it's getting nearer. You can sense there's a bit of a buzz around the place, and especially fans and stuff like that. It's one of them things that if Morecambe can do it, it's just a massive leap, isn't it? And it's laying the foundations to really kick on. Sama, what would your if anyone's watching this that's got children that like football, why should they come and watch Morecambe?
I just think it's a great experience from like the minute that you get into the ground or even when you travel. I mean, we travel thousands of miles to Glen and I, and it's like the minute you get on the minibus, the buzz is just there. It's just such a good day out. And the moment you get back and everything, win, lose or draw, you don't let football spoil your day. But like we can be, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of miles away, and we could be losing 3-0 on a Tuesday night with 26 fans watching. Do you know what I mean?
I thought you were going to say a wet and windy night at Stoke then.
further than that, mate.
Exeter 3 times in 3 weeks. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. So, Craig, anything you want to ask? Or have I put you on the spot? Or have you just froze?
There is one thing I want to say, Stu. Now that the pubs have opened up, I know that there's lots of pubs that are going to be showing the semi-finals against Tranmere.
Yeah.
So if people are watching it at home and they're enjoying the Sky Sports or whatever, fair enough. But there are going to be a lot of venues locally who are going to be putting on a real show. And I would say just make sure you check with the venues, because quite a lot of them are going to be, booked tables and stuff like that. So don't be disappointed. Take advantage of the fact that the pubs and clubs and stuff like that are opening up again this week, and get together with your mates in some of these places. But don't just leave it to the last minute. Ring them up and see if you have to book, is what I'd say. Yeah,
absolutely. It's quite exciting, isn't it, that Morecambe are going to be on Sky Sports and everything's going to be aired for everyone to watch. Just for any viewers watching, we do apologise about the technical issues we're going on. Unfortunately, Craig Stanley's going arse over tit tonight with his internet connection, but he's usually solid, so we'll let him off. Craig, is there any questions from you?
No, just I didn't really mention about the fans and that, and I think that's probably one downside probably of this season for Morecambe, is that not the fans have seen. Yes, I watched it on the EFL site the other day, and what a fantastic experience that was, listening to the mighty Glen there and this, that, and a few others. But I just think they've missed out massively this year. The fans.
And it's not just the fans as well, Craig. It's the players deserve the fans to be there.
Yeah.
The fans have missed watching it, and that's been the one negative about this season. Although you could say the players have played better because they haven't had some fans on the backs at some time. But, no, I mean, seriously, they've been missed, not just by fellow fans and not being there. The players, some of the football they've played this season, they deserve to be celebrating it with the fans.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. So, guys, Craig, are Morecambe going up?
Yes, I think they'll draw on Thursday night, and then when they come back to the Globe, or
the Mazuma.
Sorry, back to the stadium. They'll win, and then they'll go to Wembley, and then they'll win at Wembley. That's how confident I am. That's what I'm hoping for, and let the good times roll back in Morecambe. That's what I say.
Okay, Sama, are they going up?
Oh, definitely. I don't know if it's going to be as exciting as the 2007 Wembley.
Yeah.
I mean, there was records broke there, weren't there? We had the missed penalty, the first team to ever miss penalty, red card. There was everything happening in that game. But I do think that we will play Newport at the final at Wembley.
And finally, Glen.
I hope I'm not tempting fate here, but I think Stanners alluded to the last time we were there, and we just blew it in the first game at Dagenham. Shipping 6 at Dagenham, and that wasn't like us. I don't think we're a team that is going to ship a lot of goals in the first game. I just don't see that at all. So I think whatever happens in the Tranmere leg, I think we'll still be well in the tie when we bring them back to the Mazuma. and we can beat anybody there. We know we can. So I'm confident of that. And it's not an arrogant confidence. I think the team has played well enough this season to have it, you know. So I think we'll do Tranmere over 2 legs, and then it's in the lap of the gods at Wembley, but we've got a good record there.
As we said before, yes. So who's Morecambe going to beat in the final?
I want Newport.
Okay, my prediction is Morecambe will win on Thursday, then win the return leg, and then they will beat Forest Green in the final at Wembley. Right, before we go, just a quick question for Sama and Glen. Sorry to put you on the spot, but I always like to know these things. I'm just a nosy person that likes to know things. So, Glen, who is the best football you've ever seen play at Morecambe?
Play at Morecambe or play for Morecambe?
Play for Morecambe.
Right, well, it's a difficult one because it's either best or favourite.
All right.
My favourite player of all time was Ian Kane.
All right.
The best one, I think, has got to be someone like Carl Baker or Gary Thompson or Mark Duffy, because they've left us and they've gone to the highest level.
Yeah.
So that's the way you've got to measure it, I think. I mean, they're all favourite players. Anybody who plays for Morecambe and plays well for Morecambe is a favourite player. I used to love Carl Baker. Brian Healy going way, way back, but his top level, he left us and went to Torquay. So that's when you're talking about best, you've got to sort of weigh up where they ended up in the careers. So it'd have to be someone like Tomo scoring goals against Tottenham and Arsenal, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Sama, who's your favourite player?
So mine's just on like memories and probably an age thing as well. Michael Twist back in the day.
Michael Twist.
Yeah, definitely.
Ah, nice start. Craig?
Yes, Craig.
Oh, yeah, Craig.
Craig,
Sorry,
who's the best Morecambe player you played with?
Oh, geez. A bit like Glenn said, it'd have to be Tomo, it'd have to be Carl Baker, Mark Duffy, just for what they've done in their career since obviously playing for ourselves. And there's been obviously other players that have had good careers as well, you know, but I'd have to sit on the fence because obviously I still speak to them players and I'll say,
All right, Craig, we'll change it then. Who's the best player you've ever played with or against?
Played against was Paul Merson when I played at Walsall as a young pro. He was just fantastic what he did with the football. And then I got to actually obviously play with him as well, but not in a competitive game. Best player I've played with? Oh, good question.
We can talk about this on our other podcast tomorrow if you want.
So Paul Merson and Paul Merson. So I know that's quite a boring.
That's fair enough. It's nice to hear a big name like that and stuff. And it must have been a right good experience as well.
No, I got absolutely ran around. So yeah, but playing with.
Okay. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this very random but necessary episode of the Lancashire Lad podcast, Balls to It. Thank you very much to my lovely guests, Sama, Glen and Craig. And on behalf of myself and my team, we wish Morecambe all the very best on Thursday. And hopefully in a couple of weeks, we will see Morecambe in Division 1. Thank you, guys. All the best. Enjoy the game on Thursday.
Come on, go on, you mighty shrimps.
Come on.
We will see you next time. Thank you very much.